Hey there friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and if you haven't been farming the Festival of Lost event in Destiny 2, now is the perfect time to do so, because Bungie buffed the drop rate of Eerie Engrams in the Haunted Sectors playlist. Previously, you would need to farm the Legend Haunted Sector for a guaranteed chance for the Eerie Engrams, but now they're dropping consistently from the regular Haunted Sectors playlist. Keep in mind also, you can still farm Legend Haunted Sectors, but it's much slower, and they didn't buff this in any way. I wish they had added a way to get multiple Eerie Engrams from this. Say you kill a certain amount of headless ones or something like that, but for now it's better just to farm the regular playlist, and you're going to want to do so for multiple reasons. One, you can get some of the challenges done now in the playlist. It was much harder to get some of your Festival of Lost challenges like kills with pulse rifles or sniper rifles in the legend version, so it didn't make farming effective. You had to do multiple different things. But for now, you can get those done within the regular Haunted Sectors and get the Eerie Engrams and get drops of the weapons as well. Now, for the Eerie Engrams themselves, you can turn them in one of two ways. You can do the focus decoding for the regular Eerie Engrams. This is going to drop random things, including the Lost Memento. I showed you in a different video how to obtain a guaranteed copy of that. So make sure you go get the Lost Memento first and then come into this and start decoding your engrams to get multiple copies. But keep in mind, you can only hold one at a time, so every time you get one to drop, you're going to want to put it on one of your weapons that is crafted. So keep that in mind. You can get a bunch of different Lost Mementos. You can keep one at the end of your farming in order to carry over for a future craftable weapon, but other than that, you're going to want to use them as you get them. Otherwise, you won't get more to drop. If you already have the Lost Mementos that you want, you can also farm for some different weapons. Keep in mind a couple things. You will get some of these weapons to drop at the end of the Haunted Sectors, so maybe hold off on farming for these until the very end once you are target farming a specific weapon that you want. But there are multiple good weapons to chase this event. First off, the Horror Story is the best of the bunch in my opinion. It is good for PvE and PvP. It is, along with all the other auto rifles, getting a buff in PvE as well next season, which is very nice. And we know Stasis is going to be on the rise next season with the artifacts as well. So you're going to want to have a good Stasis auto rifle, and this one is very, very good in PvE and PvP. So keep that in mind. Farm for a roll. This is the one that I would highly recommend chasing first and foremost. Then we have the Jurassic Green Pulse Rifle. This one is solid, but I think other pulse rifles that are solar are just better at this point. You can get incandescent, so if you're looking for something like that, this is not a terrible one, and some people really like it in PvP as well. I am not as partial to it as others, but if you really enjoy this weapon and you want to farm it, that's another solid option. Keep in mind, pulse rifles are getting a bigger buff than auto rifles next season in PvE as well. So if we see pulse rifles become very dominant and you want to pair this with a build, a solar build to use incandescent, that's another good option. Then we have Macabre. This one is interesting because snipers have been bad in PvE for a long time, and I don't think this is the best one to use in PvP either. But if you do like it, then go ahead and farm for it. But keep in mind, sniper rifles are also getting a buff next season in PvE. So this is another one that could be a good sleeper pick to keep in mind. And just if you get an S tier roll or an A tier roll that's really going to suit you, then keep that in the vault and remember that it's there for next season, because who knows? We may be entering a sniper rifle meta. I don't think it will go to that point, but if we do, then that would be a very interesting option. And then finally, the least appealing of the bunch is a Cosmic. This one just gets overshadowed by a lot of other Void grenade launchers. We do know that in the future, grenade launchers are getting an inventory buff, but I don't think that's going to be enough to make a Cosmic really, really good. So I don't know if I would keep any but the best rolls of this just to have on hand, and if you're a collector. Otherwise, the other three weapons are significantly better than this a Cosmic at this point. Overall, go enjoy farming. If you want to finish your manifested pages, now that they've nerfed the cheese strat, the best way is just to run a ton of lost sectors back to back to back to back. If you have some weekly challenges, that are on certain locations. You can do those heroic public events in those locations as well and just farm them really quickly. You can get that done. You can do your challenges. You can level up with some vendors. And that's one of the things that I always keep in mind and like to tell people when they're farming events like this. Try to do multiple things at one time to make it feel more rewarding. If you haven't finished the battle pass, now is a perfect time to do weekly challenges. If you are leveling up crafted weapons, you can do so in a haunted lost sector that's relatively easy. Same thing with the public events. Throw them on. You can level them up now, the crafted weapons, through using materials. But if you're low on materials, or if you just don't want to spend them in that way, you can make sure that you level up these weapons very easily by doing these different events. And I think that's something that people sleep on as well. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this event right now. Are you enjoying it? Are you grinding it? Is it something that you're not interested in? For me, the addition of the memento has really made a big difference for my desire to farm, because these weapons are good. I do want a good horror story. I haven't been fortunate enough to get a great one to drop yet, but is it enough to keep me invested for hours and hours and hours? Probably not. But knowing I'm getting weapons and that I can do all these other things and get the memento at the same time is what has me super excited to continue farming this event. So for me personally, it's very much been worth it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more Destiny 2 content from me going forward. My name is JoPa. I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.